The second Odin entered the arena, an intense and sinister aura stunned everyone. Flying down, weapon out like a true god, and wields that final boss main villain energy we've all been waiting for. He is described as the supreme god of Valhalla, Midgard and Helheim, the supreme god of the Norse pantheon, and the strongest god of war. Next level claims, perhaps Ares has finally lost his rank 1 position within the verse, but with no delay, Odin has already entered his transformation, or as Zeus claims, so that's his battle form. Something no one seems to be aware of, but we definitely see how he's the father of Thor when he looks like this. But regardless of this insane introduction, Kintoki already stuns Odin with a next level reveal of his own. So with that introduction out of the way, welcome to the Mysterious Weeb YouTube channel, a place with all the Record Ragnarok content you need. Today I'll be breaking down absolutely everything you need to know about the latest Record Ragnarok chapters and events. Welcome to round 12, Kintoki vs Odin, which will truly decide the fate of this universe, and honestly does give me final battle or final match vibes, I'm not gonna lie, but more on that later in today's video. So boys, right off the bat, I need to go over the main controversy. It is now 100% confirmed that Anubis has been cucked for a third time in a row. Bro is not mentioned, bro does not appear, he does nothing in Record Ragnarok chapter 108 and 109. We have been blessed once again with a double chapter, crazy times, and a wild, potentially the best introduction of fighters so far. It's definitely up there, that's for sure. But rip to the Egyptian doggo. Maybe next month we're going to see an update from him, but at the current minute, bro is definitely doomed. Likewise with our boy Rasputin, but we all know top of the verse, so it doesn't even matter. But now bringing it over to Kintoki. Like many of you guys watching today's video, I can't say going into this round I was that excited for him. However, based on his introduction and setup in the previous chapter, I think I can say I'm excited and have faith that he's going to be one of the strongest characters in the entire series, and even has the potential right now to be the strongest human, so let's break it down. We already had Brynhilde claim in the previous chapter that she's been waiting for this, that being Odin to fight in the Ragnarok tournament, and claimed that she decided since the beginning, the one to defeat the supreme god of the Norse pantheon can only be Sakata Kintoki, who begins to enter the arena with this weapon, a giga-sized axe, and continues to restate no matter what happens in this fight, he's going to win and defeat Odin, and that he simply has to, which brings us to potentially the most wild introduction or build up for one of humanity's fighters in the entire series. We see that all of humanity, this being various characters from various eras and various prior rounds we've had introduced supporting humanity's fighters, here now to support Kintoki. This includes the various scientists, Spartans, sumo dudes, goons from the Three Kingdoms, Eve, etc. All here to show their support and bring up two specific legends, that being Nikola Tesla, who highlighted that humanity must continue to progress and will not be destroyed in Ragnarok, alongside Adam, who's looking over all of his children, all of humanity, as the next one now challenges the gods, highlighting that bro has to live up and potentially even surpass the likes of Adam and Tesla during this match, considering the state of the Ragnarok tournament. Right now they are one win away from victory. If Kintoki manages to pull off this dub, humanity is saved from destruction, so pretty much no pressure. Which now brings us to his introduction, which is very interesting, mostly connecting to his in real life mythology at first, highlighting his superhuman physical strength and the battle axe as well, how initially he was known as the greatest demon slayer, but now he should be regarded as someone recognized for god slaying. Introduced as someone wielding strength that makes the very heavens quake, unparalleled, unmatched, this is Kintoki, representing Japan and humanity in round 12, the final Japanese fighter, so he has that level of glaze on top of fighting the main villain, final chief god and big bad of the entire series as well. Which brings us to his Valkyrie, the 12th sister. Apparently there's been some mistranslations and issues from the author's part and translation part as well. This is actually the 12th Valkyrie, not Simro's one we had in the previous round. But that is the final one to be revealed. The last two remaining, of course, is Brunhilde and Gol. With her at first being quite nervous, but Kintoki is able to get her attention and excitement right away, performing the Volund, which is pretty much perfect for Kintoki, at least with the way it's explained. She is the only one capable of drawing out his strength to its utmost limit. She is the 12th Valkyrie, and the power that dwells within her Rune is axe time. Enhancing his already Giga Axe to a further extent, bro is indeed ready to slay a god. But we do get a conversation between Brunhilde and Zeus out of nowhere, which is very interesting. He questions whether Brunhilde truly believes that she can win against the supreme god Odin, where Brunhilde makes a go-to statement: no matter the match, I never once picked a fighter thinking they would lose. In particular, Kintoki was picked as my anti-Lord Odin fighter, meaning bro may have some insane counter towards the Norse god, which may connect to what we see at the end of chapter 109, which I'll be breaking down later on. But Kintoki's axe is goated. I have seen people, to a degree, overglazing it. Low-key, Zero's Misery Cleaver looks cooler, at least to me, but we all know Kintoki is going to be more badass compared to the likes of Zero Fuku, potentially the biggest fraud in the entire Ragnarok tournament if I'm being honest. With us also getting this official art for Kintoki as well, highlighting once again the reddish-orange marking on half of his body. Nothing in regards to that was really mentioned throughout this chapter alongside his somewhat unique design compared to the other humans, so perhaps in his dedicated flashback that will be explored, but it definitely has something to do with his power potentially. And to top off Kintoki's insane and wild introduction here, we are told this. For the first time in their 7 million years of history, humanity believed they were witnessing the day that they would surpass the will of the gods, at least until one thing arrives. The second Odin makes his arrival to the arena, the mood changes, insane pressure, reminds me of like some Bleach, Aizen spiritual pressure, negging, crazy stuff, and next level hype for the final supreme god fighting in the tournament, on top of the wings which of course connect to his bird's goated introduction no matter what. But what comes next is insane. I continue with my initial claim that Odin probably has the most godlike introduction we've ever seen in the entire series at this point. We learn that he's known as more than 200 names, with all of them pretty much glazing him to an insane degree. We get more information about his iconic spear, where it's claimed that anyone who faces it will surely be destroyed. Already strongest god of war statements in Valhalla. And bro just outright entering his transformation with no delay is crazy stuff. I can't say I like the transformation that much. I think it's pretty badass and I was insanely shocked by it, but I can't say I'm incredibly blown away at the current minute, at least from a design standpoint. But let me know your thoughts on that aspect down in the comments. Therefore, this brings us to the official start of round 12, with Odin saying the following to Kintoki. I wondered who my opponent would be from back then. An insect, nothing more than Buddha's errand boy, so already talking shit, but takes note that Brunhilde is quite cheeky, and if Kintoki was the one chosen to defeat him, he must have some incredible strength, or being excited and wanting Kintoki to reveal his strength, where the human fighter begins talking his own shit about Odin's title as the supreme god of the Norse pantheon, revealing something no one really saw coming. He claims, "I already know. I know your despair," with a bright light appearing from his hand. This is a rune, one connected to the inherited will of Golnir, that outright has Odin freaking out with the name mentioned, followed by Kintoki exposing his plans. "If you resurrect the primordial gods, I don't know what you're planning to do, but every drop of blood in the veins of my body is telling me I have to stop ya," as insane aura begins leaving his body as he activates his rune and begins to attack Odin. So what is Golnir and why is this so important? So the only time that name has been mentioned prior in the Ragnarok series was during the whole situation between Beelzebub, Buddha and Odin, with this panel showing the Book of Golnir, having Beelzebub say the following: "A book describing how to revive a primordial god. In short, the primordial gods clearly did exist," and then all the confirmation, which eventually led to the canon flashback of Odin when he was the creator primordial god and got sealed alongside Ymir, Chaos and Satan, what we already know. Which, in response to Kintoki saying that he also inherited the will of Golnir, we honestly have no idea what it means. I've seen some of you guys leave comments down below that Golnir is, in some Norse mythology stuff, another name for Odin. I tried looking into that claim a little bit and I couldn't really find anything definitive. So perhaps is this something created by the Ragnarok authors for this series alone, meaning we're not going to know what it truly is until the next chapter, but feel free to drop your theories down in the comments. I'll probably go over them in a future video later in October. But one thing for sure is it does have Odin sweating, shocked, and maybe even fearful of Kintoki's power, which is going absolutely mental right now, and highlights to me that this fight without a doubt is going to be insanely close, with both god and human having the potential to be rank 1 and 2 in the entire series. The glaze Odin got in his introduction and when he transformed may actually be the most we've ever seen. And now the build up for Kintoki as well may be at the number 1 spot. So the expectations for this fight are definitely through the roof at the current point. And throughout both of their introductions and I guess themes so far in these 2 chapters, it does give me vibes that this is or was meant to be the final fight of the tournament. It's going to be weird that after this round we still have potentially 1 more or even 2, but who knows considering Odin is currently fighting and still has his real or primordial god weapon to pull out at some point as well. Therefore, my current prediction remains the same. I do believe Odin is going to win this clash against Kintoki, but it's going to be extreme high difficulty like most other fights in the series. So with all that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more. Check out Gamer Subs, link in the pinned comment with more information. Check out these other videos, and that's it guys. Peace.